Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Ahmed Habib from Teerya.com. I'm a brokerage owner and AI specialist that basically is recording my journey, learning these tools and sharing them with my community as we go along. And many of the tools that you guys are seeing, we are actively integrating into our actual structure, our businesses, to increase our efficiency, streamline operations, improve the quality of life of our team, which is improvement of the quality of life of the company. Ergo. Shout out to Lliam, Ottley, team Morningside out in Auckland for the wonderful program. Today, ladies and gentlemen, without too much discussion, we're going to be jumping into a chatbot, a voice chatbot, which is essentially the heart and soul of any AI ecosystem, and which will be the heart and soul going forward, replacing the traditional IVR. Press 1 for English, press 2 for Arabic, press 3 for this department. That's going to be replaced with this highly intelligent AI system that will talk, not nowhere near as robotic, etc. So let's just dive into the actual into the same training content that we use for our team. Again, my name is Ahmed from Teerya.com. We're just sharing our learning with the world, and for those of you that are interested or would like to know a little bit, just before I switch you over to Lliam here, just know that this is accessible to everyone. And if you're watching this in early 2025, you are in a pole position to be adopting this stuff for yourself. It's incredible. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Softwares into one, so you basically have all of your bot building needs, knowledge bases and everything for $50 a month on the pro plan. So definitely check this out just so you're 100% clear. Those are the pricing options. Now we can get stuck into using this thing. Once you're inside Voiceflow, we have a couple things just for the home screen here. First of all, you have your team. Obviously I'm with my Morningside AI team, so you can add different workspaces. You've got a resource hub, a education hub for them, which is great. So if you want to really take a deep dive into this platform and come up to speed even more after this video, definitely jump into this. They've got a ton of resources, essential tutorials here. They've got a YouTube channel as well. So if you really want to get ahead, feel free to dive into that. Back on the dashboard here, they have templates, which are really cool as well. So if you want to come in here, browse around the different templates they have, it might save you a bunch of time for a future project. Then they have what's new. The Discord community is great as well if you want to sign up to that. And then you have basically the invite section, so you can invite different collaborators. So if you have a team member you want to bring on, you can invite them here. And then you have the important button, which is to add a new assistant, which we're going to be clicking now. So in this case, we're going to be doing, it's called customer support. We can click build a new assistant, continue, select the channel. We're going to be choosing web chat for this one. As you can see, there's different deployment options. So you've been learning all the stuff, right? We've got the web chat deployment. We've got Twilio SMS deployment. We've got WhatsApp. We've got Microsoft Teams. One thing that I'm really looking forward to them dropping is this Facebook Messenger deployment, because that's something I like to do with my lead generation chatbots. But here you can go web chat for now, select the language English, and continue. So once you've got that, you can create the assistant, and then you're going to see a screen that looks a little bit like this. So this here is the Voiceflow editor. It looks nice and simple, which is what you want, but it does have a lot of features packed into it. Just walking you through, firstly, we have the designer tab on the left, which is what we're in right now. So this is called the designer. Then we have the all-important knowledge base section. So we're going to be adding some stuff into this shortly. You can add data sources up here, select.
I want to chime in here, and this is the page where he's highlighted. You can see you just update your documents if you've got brand guidelines, or you've got, pitch decks, or you've got any sort of information. You just feed it into the system, which will smartly understand it and deduce logic and deduce reasoning and patterns and interrelationships between different concepts, if that makes sense. All right, so it does it in a very intelligent manner. So you just hit that upload button, that's it.
The different types of data, all sorts of things. Then we have transcripts, which you're not going to need to worry about just now. Here's a little transcript from previously. You have analytics, which is a very important thing to have within these chatbots. You have the integrations tab, which is going to allow you to export the functionality to or query your knowledge base and all sorts of things. I think this is advanced, and we're going to be covering this probably in a later video, but there's some really cool functionality that Voiceflow allows you to do out of the box. And then finally, you have your project settings, which is just some basic stuff, the name, global no matches, and your navigation methods. I'm using this on a trackpad. I need to probably change this over to trackpad now. And then there's a couple of different settings you can play around with there. Feel free to get comfortable. Down here, we have the number of tokens you've used on your AI usage. So they have a limit that you're allowed to use up in terms of AI usage.
Guys, I'm just showing you a quick and dirty look, okay? But the benefit of this is that What you're seeing here is the same on all the platforms. It's the same basic structure for all UX. So once you've seen the one, you have seen them all. So know that you watching this right now are getting, front end just experience. Like, don't worry, it'll all make sense later. Everything sounds like it's complicated. It's really, 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 really simple stuff. Okay, it's just, yeah.
Throughout your different applications, I've obviously got quite a bit of token usage left. You guys will probably have a smaller amount based on the trial that you've started, but we can start jumping through the different features here. Up in the top left, we have the sort of home menu, which is going to allow you to do a whole bunch of important admin things with the chatbot. You can export it, you can clone it, you can go back to your dashboard, etc. We have different mouse types, as we've just been playing around with. You can leave a note, so I can drop it on here and say something. A nice way to just annotate it for your other team members. I can drop an image or a video in here. All sorts of different things. In commenting, of course, as I mentioned before, if I want to leave a comment, I can drop here and say my teammate's done something stupid. I can tell him that he's stupid right here. And then if I want to go into the NLU model, this is just basically a high level look at all of the different intents and things you've got set up. So we'll be probably using this a little bit later in the video when we're doing the advanced builds, but for now, we won't need to look into that too much. On the left panel here, we have topics. Now, topics are essentially going to be pages. Let's call them layouts or canvases maybe. This is the home topic, but I can create a new one and I call it topic 2, and then I can start an entirely new sort of page of my application, but I can still access it through the chatbot's sort of interface and through the flow of the conversation. So if I wanted to build something out within the home that links to an entirely new page, maybe it's like an entirely different section of the chatbot that's going to handle a very different bunch of features. Whenever the user hits a certain trigger in the home topic, we can shoot them over to this new topic. It might be the refunds topic or something like this, and we've got an entire page built out. It's just mainly for sorting the different parts of your application in order to keep it a bit clearer and not having it all muddled on the one page. We won't be needing this for now. Let's just close this down, head back to the home one, and we can delete this. And that's most of the orientation. We, of course, have the publish button up here, which we'll be using later. And then we have the run button. So whenever you want to test the functionality, as we're going to be doing soon, you can just hit the R key or the run, and it allows you to run a test of the bot. And then we have the share button. So if you want to send the prototype over to a client in the same way that we've done with the prototyping softwares, this of course has the ability to send over a quick prototype. So we're going to be seeing this very soon. You can change the branding, the appearance, as I've done here, invite your teammates, export, and all sorts of stuff. And up here, you can easily change the name of your chatbot to whatever you want. Just edit it here. I don't need to do mine for now. And I will mention one more thing, in that Voiceflow has their own assistant down here. It's actually built on Voiceflow. I've had a look at it. It is insane the amount of complexity these guys have built into their own assistant using their own technology. If you need any help, this thing is going to be very good at helping you out. So if you got any questions, if you don't know what something does, if you're running into an error, I really urge you to give this thing a go and see how much you can get done if you get stuck. So this guy will probably end up being your best friend as you're learning this platform. Now, with that housekeeping out of the way, we can jump straight into sort of checking out these features. Now, I've gone over this section a couple times and I've tried to walk you through all of these one by one and show you what it does. But really, without context, they don't mean anything. So the best thing we can do is just jump straight into building our first chatbot, and you can learn on the go. All of the concepts and things we talked about earlier in the video are going to come into play in full force as we're building this. Try to connect up the dots as to the things I've mentioned and how they look in real chatbots. But with that out of the way, we can jump straight into building our basic customer support chatbot with Voiceflow. Now, my use of the term basic throughout this video is going to refer to something that's a pure AI chatbot. As I've mentioned earlier in the video, we have pure AI chatbots, old school chatbots, and we have these modern ones. And in this case, they're going to be custom knowledge chatbots. So it's a sort of infinite loop with a prompted AI plus a knowledge base. So we can get stuck into creating the knowledge base for this and then setting up this loop that's going to go around and around. Now, when you're approaching building a chatbot for a business, it is important to understand what your goal is and what you're actually trying to achieve, not only for you as a developer to know when you've got it right, but to clearly communicate to the customer what to expect. So you'll find a lot of the time, if you don't get the balance right between expectations and what you're actually able to deliver, you're going to have issues with clients. It's important to say this chatbot is a basic customer support chatbot. It is intended to deal with 80% of the common queries that we're going to get. In this case, we're going to be talking about an e-commerce store called Pet Supply or PetSmart or something, whatever I've called it. All of the information that I've included in the knowledge base document is meant to handle the 80% of questions. So it's not meant to be a be-all and end-all solution. It's meant to say, I don't know, and send it off to a customer support email when it's a more complex question they can't answer. So the 80% is still going to be a great help to the e-commerce business, and we're going to work to build this first at an 80% rate, and then when we go to the advanced one, we're going to try and really push the boundaries and set something up that's going to basically eliminate the entire customer support team. Now, the most important thing to get right for one of these to work, how you expect, is obviously the knowledge base itself. So when you're making a custom knowledge chatbot like this that relies so heavily on a knowledge base, it's important to make sure the knowledge base content and the document is actually good and high quality. It has all the information you need, because that's going to really sting you in the butt if you don't have the right information available. So here is an example of an e-commerce store called Petmates that I got Chat.
So just to chime in, what he's trying to deliver, the message he's trying to deliver is essentially saying, these are basic chatbots, but that will handle 80% of customer resolution, 85% now, I believe, satisfactorily, autonomously, and operate 24/7, and can have built-in functions attached to them. For example, if someone says, wow, this is so cool, it might deduce that this is an opportune time to also say, would you like to give a 5-star review? So it can have these sort of smart logic instructions. Think of it as yourself programming how you would like things to be done in the smartest way possible. Only that is how these things are, literally almost out of the box, with some common frequently asked questions and documents required to be uploaded, you know, business plans, pitch decks, anything that the chatbot can absorb, and then it will mold into its own model, right? So just the more you do, the more sort of similarities it makes, you know, by itself, right? So you feed it some data, you copy and paste, you upload some PDFs, some CSVs, some Word documents. It takes all sorts of shapes and sizes, and then with that being done and the logic being set out of the box, you have an 80% resolution of all queries.
Right. It's not very good.
This is the lowest tier of, I would say, 5 tiers higher in terms of capability. So the lowest tier handles the 80%, which is incredible.
Not a great example. So here's one for a Jerry's Gym one, the example we used before. Now this is a lot closer to what you actually want to be working with. There's a bunch of background information about the business. We've got the contact information section, which has got the support email. We've got the gym locations, the billing inquiries, app support, all of the locations and addresses, etc. So this is really in-depth, offering trials, FAQs, as much information as you can get. And throughout it, we are dropping the links to the support email. So if this happens, then send to the support email. We also have links to the parts of the website. When it answers a question that's related to a membership system, it's going to send them a link to Jerry's Gym prices. So having the links included into the document for these kind of chatbots where they're dealing with 80%, it's ideal for you to have the links included in the resource document so that it's able to send those through in the chat as well and really direct the people to the correct resources, since it doesn't have that full range of functionality to deal with everything themselves. But because the advanced version of the customer support chatbot that we're going to build after this is using the Petmates example, I'm going to be using Petmates as our knowledge base for this. So we are here on our homepage. We can head over to the knowledge base section. These resources and these documents are going to be available in the resource hub. So as I said, anything, the prompts, the documents as well, going to be available to download, so you can follow along step by step with this. Link is going to be in the description. First step is to go to add data source. We're going to add a doc. I'm going to click on the Petmates doc, load that in there, and it's going to load for a few seconds. Shouldn't take too long. So that's all processed and ready to go. Now we need to go to the settings section. And so in here, as you can see, I have the Dave prompt. What I want to do is actually spin this to be for petmates.com or whatever website we're talking about. So you can just go to ChatGPT and take this exact same prompt that you guys are going to be able to get, which works for customer support in most cases. Drop it in here, give a bit more information about the new company we want, and it's going to shuffle it around and make it about the company that you're looking to make it for. Change this prompt to be for a e-commerce pet product called Petmates. The name of the assistant is Annabelle. And there we go, it's writing this out. It's a great way to just repurpose the prompt for whatever different business you're doing. So feel free to take this prompt, send it to ChatGPT and say, hey, look, this is the business I'm working with now. Can you reshuffle this thing around to work for the business I'm working? So we can copy all of this. I head back. The exact version of this is going to be available on the resource hub, so you don't necessarily need to follow along here, but we can paste this in. I want the max tokens to be about 200. Temperature can be low. I'm going to be using Claude V1 for this, which I've been recommended is pretty good. So we can use Claude V1 in this case. Scroll down and save it. And then when it comes to your knowledge base, it's important to check that it's giving you the right responses. So what we can do is once this thing goes away, we can hit the preview button and then we can ask it a question. So we go, what information do we have in our resource hub? Okay, we can say, how can I return an item. To initiate a return, log into your Pitmates account, go to order history, initiate return, log into your Pitmates account. Yep, so that's responding correctly and it's telling us the right things to do. So we've got the knowledge base set up, we've tested it to make sure it's working, and then we can head back to the designer and start to actually set up a conversation design for this. So step one is going to be grabbing a text and dragging it out here. Now we can put in here, hi, my name is Annabelle from Pet. Put a little dog emoji. And there's a cool feature here where you can generate a couple different variations, so it's not always going to be the same. There we go. Hello, I'm Annabelle from Pitmates. Greetings, I'm Annabelle from Pitmates. And you can hit enter on each of these, or you can just hit command enter to save them all. Looks good to me. Then we need another talk step. So we're going to put another text one here. You can just zoom in on this. Say, how can I help you today? Okay, we're back for day 2 of filming. If you couldn't tell, it was getting a bit dark. So we're back the next day, got a new cup of coffee ready to go. So let's jump straight back into it. But while I have a moment, could you please, if you're enjoying the video, if you've got anything out of it so far, please head down and leave a like on it. It would mean the world to me. It helps me reach more people. It helps me continue to do what I do on YouTube. So if you're enjoying the video, please leave a like. If you like this kind of content and you're interested in seeing more, please subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified when the next one drops. I'm also going to be doing another one of my 20-minute consulting call giveaways. So if you want to go on the draw to win a consulting call with me, have a chat to me about your business, about chatbot building, whatever you want to talk about, I'm all yours. Go down below and leave a comment on the video telling me what you like about chatbot building, what you're interested in doing with it, etc., or the hardest thing that you've struggled with within this whole process. So I want to know more about you guys and what you're struggling with. It really helps me as a creator. So please head down below. There'll be some instructions in the pinned comment on how to get in the draw to win that. But best of luck, and I'm going to be drawing one winner every month. So this is going to be an ongoing giveaway. If you're watching this video 10 months in the future, you're still going to be able to get access to going into the draw to win that. So head down below, leave a comment, and I'll be replying to you, and then you can get in contact with me on Discord, and I'll be adding your name to the pinned comment as well. So best of luck, and let's get back to the video. So back where we left off, we have our first text card. My name is Annabelle from Pitmates, and then we have the follow-up message as well. So we can connect this up here, and then if you want to quickly run and test your app, you can just click R, then we can hit run test.
Okay, I want to chime in here. Guys, please follow along. You're now designing an AI chatbot. What do you realize? You're just dragging and dropping. Pay attention to those drag and drop movements. That's it. Furthermore, there's the ability to import templates, right? I don't want to take away from Lliam because this is incredibly important that you do this. Right? That's all that this building of a chatbot flow entails: dragging and dropping different instructions and triggers and events, and you have the ability to capture specific conditions and send them elsewhere. So if someone says, in order to assist you better, can we have your name? Sure. User enters his name. That is automatically captured and sent to the customer, to your CRM software, saying there's a customer called so-and-so who's filled out this form, and everyone acknowledges it, right? So it can also capture data and send it in the background without, according to how you want it to be done. Let's just put it that way, which is sort of what a company structure is supposed to do. It's supposed to be an extension of the founder's instructions in ARM.
And then there we go. Conversation is ended. Great. Now, next thing is going to be hit escape, and we can draw up here. We can take a listen step. So this is going to be capturing some information. We want to capture something that the user says after that. So hello, how can I help you? We want to capture that information. Now we get into the first interaction with variables within Voiceflow. So this is a variable called last utterance. We have the last utterance, which is typically the last message that the user has sent. And then we have the last response, which is the most recent response that the AI has sent. So good thing to distinguish early on. In this case, we're going to be saving what the user says to us as the last utterance. We're going to be capturing the entire user reply, so the entire message they send. This is a little bit more complicated. We will cover entities later. But then this here is where we're going to be saving the response. So we're going to take the entire user reply. We're going to save it as the last utterance. Now we can save it to a bunch of different variables in here. I can create a new variable and I can save it to that. But in this case, last utterance is just fine for us. We're going to wait for the user to message us, and then we're going to capture that reply for later. So Next step is to get a response AI box. These blocks enable you to send a message back to the user based on some prompting, whether you're using an AI model sort of out of the box or you're using your knowledge base. In this case, we're going to be using our knowledge base. And then we're going to be saying, answer the user's question. And then what we can do is reference the last utterance. So this is going to sort of insert what the last utterance will say of that. And then it's going to inject it in there. So if I go preview, and I say, what is your refund policy? It's going to inject that into here, answer the user's question, what is your last refund, or what is your refund policy? And there we go, we're getting a preview back, making sure this is all working. And then the little magic here is that we can just loop this back up to the top here. So understanding how these little loops work is very important. So as you can see here, we've just got a little loop going where we ask them how they're going, and then we start the conversation. They ask us a question, we save it to the last utterance. We pass that to the AI to answer from our knowledge base, and then we just pass it straight back up and open the floor again. So let's see this in action. If I click here and go, run test. Hello, I'm Annabelle from Petmates. How can I help you? What is your refund policy? And then it's going to take that question, save it as the last utterance, take it down to the AI, and then insert it into the prompt that we have here. And you can also click play from here, which is helpful. If we go, what is your refund policy? And then it's just taking it straight back up to the top, and we can ask another question. So it's just looping around. Now, understanding these loops is really important because we're going to be using them a lot. And this is how you can keep the AI kind of in an endless conversation. There's a couple cool features we can build off the back of it, but that's the basics right there. And then we can ask another question. How can I return my item? So how can I return an item to initiate a return, etc.? What about refunds? And then it's also working. So in this case, I've talked to the Voiceflow team and they said that there is chat history here. So as we mentioned earlier in the video in the concept section, chat history is important, especially for these kind of conversational chatbots where you're working back with a customer support agent. So the chat history is a thing here. I will say it's not amazing. It's not.
Chat history is basically memory. So it can say, upon the return of this user named so-and-so, say, welcome back, Mr. So-and-so, good to see you again, remembering the name, stuff like that, those nice little tweaks. I'm sure you've experienced them at some point in your customer usage, but that's essentially what he's going to talk about now. And I think just for the sake of this video, just to not keep it to be too overbearing and for everyone, this has been 22 minutes. I'm sure you guys sort of get the gist of it, right? It's drag and drop interfaces, and do you see any code here? None whatsoever. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this and it's sort of taken you out of that fear, that fearful mindset that you might not be able to understand this. This is it. This is the same for almost all cases. You're very welcome. It doesn't get much more complicated than this, right? Again, that's Ahmed. See you guys in the next video. Hope you're enjoying this stuff. It's been a pleasure making them. See you in the next tutorial, which I guess will just be the continuation of this. Taking into account more advanced stuff later. So this can be part 1 of the chatbot tutorial of, I would say, another 2 or 3 more parts. Bye, everyone.